Hi, everyone, and welcome to the guided meditations of Marcus Aurelius. I'm your host, John Stillman. This episode is a nighttime episode about fate for those that are interested in learning to love the outcomes of life. If you're new to the podcast, a nighttime episode is meant for you to listen to right before you go to sleep, as opposed to in the middle of the day or in the morning. If you want to listen to the fate episode and get on with your day afterwards, you'll want the daytime episode. Before we get started, I highly recommend listening to the journal episode on fate if you haven't already done so. And the reason for this is it's going to help you put some definition on the topic and how it relates to your life. Okay, let's go over some ground rules. First off, understand that this is a guided meditation episode. This podcast is designed to help you relax to a very deep level. So you should only listen to it in a place where you would feel comfortable sleeping for at least the next 30 to 45 minutes. Do not listen to this while you are driving or sitting on a bus. Otherwise, you can potentially injure yourself or someone else, or you might miss your stop. Be mindful of where you listen to this and pick a place that is safe for you to do so. I would also highly suggest going to the toilet before we get started because that can become a huge distraction. If you need to do that now, just hit pause and come back after you're done. Lastly, I'm always looking to improve these episodes. So if there's a particular Stoic principle you would like to implant into your subconscious in the future, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to make an episode on it going forward. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. So, find a spot to sit or lay down, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and get ready to relax. Listen carefully to sounds that you may hear around you. Are there sounds of people? Sounds of animals, maybe even sounds of wind or traffic. Not all of those sounds are important for you to hear while you're listening to this. Things that are alerting you of an emergency are important, but any other sounds can actually help you sink deeper into relaxation. So let those unimportant sounds drift into the background, away from your awareness, and let them help you reach deeper down into a wonderful, relaxed state. Let the unimportant sounds fade away into background noise and let them do their job to help you relax. As you continue to relax, I'd like you to imagine your center core. The center core is different for every person, but it is wherever you feel is the center of your body. Some people believe it's in their solar plexus, and some people feel it's in their forehead. But wherever you feel is the center of your body, I'd like you to imagine that spot now. Now imagine what it might look like to pull all of your energy deep down into your center core. Whatever that might be like for you, you decide. Now imagine that you have little bits of energy in different places you've spent time over the last 24 hours, and imagine pulling all of that energy back from those places and pulling it deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body. And imagine floating to the wall that's in front of you. Imagine touching it and feeling the texture with your fingers.
Then float back to your body and pull yourself deep, deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body and floating to the wall behind you. Imagine touching the wall there. Now imagine floating back and pulling yourself deep, deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body and floating to the wall on your left. Imagine touching the wall there. Now imagine floating back and pulling yourself deep, deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body and floating to the wall on the right. Imagine touching the wall there. And now imagine floating back and pulling yourself deep, deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body and floating down to the floor. Perhaps to look up at yourself, wonderfully relaxed. Now imagine floating back and pulling yourself deep, deep down into your center core. Now imagine floating up out of your body and floating to the ceiling if there is one, or maybe 10 feet into the air if there's not. Then imagine floating down, back and forth like a feather, down and back and forth, as you slowly drift down. And imagine pulling yourself deep, deep down into your center core. And while
As you listen now,
words, you may
drift
notice that your mind is already doing what it
You
does
might
best.
notice how
Processing
sound
information itself,
organizing ideas
can feel soft,
making sense of
or
things in
distant.
a logical way,
There's nothing
as if
mysterious or
each word
complicated happening here.
or a leaf
This is
floating
simply a
gently
sequence,
past.
one step leading
You don't
naturally
need
to
to
the
follow
next. Every sentence.
You don't have to try to relax.
You can let them
In fact,
wash over
effort
you
isn't required at all.
like warm water
Your only
over
task
smooth
is
stone,
to notice
finding your
Notice
own way.
that you're hearing words.
Perhaps
Notice
you become
that
aware
you're
of the weight
understanding them.
of your body,
And notice that
how gravity
understanding happens
holds you
automatically
perfectly
without effort.
without effort,
That's how your mind works.
without instruction.
Now,
Consider
there may be
the
a simple
sense
fact.
of settling
When your body
like
is still,
snow falling,
the mind has fewer
quietly
variables to
covering
manage.
the ground.
And when the mind has fewer
layer
variables, it
by
becomes more
layer,
efficient until
more
everything
focused, feels
more receptive.
still.
You may already
calm.
observe small changes.
Your
A
breathing
slower
can
rate of
become
thinking.
a tide now,
Longer pauses
rolling
between
in
thoughts.
and
A
rolling
sense
out
of completion
with
as
its own
each idea
natural
ends.
rhythm.
It's
Each
not something
breath
you need to control.
creating a
It's simply
gentle
the
wave
natural
of
outcome
ease spreading
of
through
reduced
your chest,
mental workload.
your
Your
shoulders,
breathing is a good example.
your arms,
You don't calculate
all
it,
the way down
yet it follows
to
a
your
predictable
fingers.
rhythm.
You might imagine
In
a place
and
where
out,
time feels wide and unhurried,
balance,
place where
consistent,
nothing is expected of you, where you
reliable,
can simply be.
and just like breathing,
Colors may
relaxation
appear,
follows rules too,
or textures,
muscles that are
or
not
just a
needed,
feeling,
a
release
soft
tension,
sense of
safety
safety
and comfort
that are not required
that
fade
doesn't need words.
into the background.
Your
And
mind
as one
recognizes
image fades,
efficiency,
and
another
efficiency
can
feels
take its
calm.
place.
Now,
Or
you
not.
may find it interesting
Because
to note
even drifting
that
is
while one
perfectly
part of your
fine.
mind is listening to these words,
You may notice that thoughts
another part is
begin
already
to move
checking them
like
for
clouds,
accuracy.
forming,
Everything being said here makes
changing
sense.
shape,
You are safe.
and dissolving,
You are in
all on their
control.
own,
And you are simply
leaving
allowing
more
a temporary
and
shift
more
in attention.
open sky.
Nothing is being forced. There's no need. Nothing is being lost. To hold on to anything. In fact, awareness
The ground
becomes
beneath you
more
precise.
knows how to support. You may notice that the air
Time
around
feels
you
slightly different,
knows how to carry
not
sound
faster or
and
slower,
your mind
knows
just less important. How to sink. And as
gently
each sentence
inward.
completes itself, there's
Some
no
people
need
notice
to hold on to it. A pleasant heaviness. Your mind can release
Others,
it. A light and move
floating
smoothly to the next
ease.
one. That's
And
how
some
systems work
simply
best. A quiet, soft,
one
one completed task that spreads at a time, exactly where it's needed. Without analyzing it too deeply, you just in this recognize
space
this, where nothing has
your
to be
conscious
decided,
mind
can rest, where nothing
because
needs fixing. Everything is functioning exactly
you
as it
should.
should. And allow yourself, and you allow yourself
drift
to
just a
continue
little
listening
deeper,
as
comfortably,
comfort continues to unfold and efficiently in its own
as this process
perfect
continues.
way. And now, without needing to do anything at all, you can allow this experience to deepen naturally. There's nothing to achieve here, nothing to fix, just a gradual unwinding that happens on its own. You may begin to notice a general sense of release, as if effort is no longer required. As if things that were being held no longer need to be. And that release can spread, not in any particular direction, just everywhere it's welcome. Imagine slowly turning down a dial, just one small adjustment at a time. Each turn softening the overall experience, making everything quieter, lower, more settled. With each breath, you may notice a subtle shift. Not dramatic,
just enough to feel that you're moving further inward. There's a difference between paying attention and needing to pay attention. And right now, attention can become effortless. Thoughts don't need to stop. They can simply lose importance, like background noise that fades as something calmer moves into the foreground. Now imagine a gentle downward movement, not physical, more like a feeling of depth, as if awareness is sinking into a softer, quieter layer of experience. Each moment builds on the last, like steps that descend so smoothly you hardly notice moving until you realize you're already deeper. If numbers come to mind, they can drift downward now, slowly, comfortably, each one marking a deeper level of ease. 5. Settling. 4. Slowing. 3. Less effort, more comfort. 2. Almost no need to think at all. And 1. Simply being here. In this state, everything unnecessary has already fallen away. What remains is calm, steady, and receptive. You're happy to stay right here. Because this level, this quiet, settled space is exactly right for whatever comes next. And you can allow yourself to rest here now, comfortably, peacefully, as the work continues. Consider this now gently. There are forces in life far older and larger than you. Causes set in motion long before you were born. Events unfolding from countless prior events. Moments arriving that no amount of preference could prevent. Stoics called this fate. Not as something mystical, not as something personal, but as the nature of unfolding of reality. The culmination of countless decisions of beings on this planet and forces of this universe. Things happen because something before them happened. Life moves forward according to causes and conditions, and sometimes the mind resists that. The past does not move. Events do not unhappen. Fate has already unfolded. The Stoics offered something radical, not just acceptance, but amor fati, the love of fate. Not loving pain, not seeking hardship, but choosing to cooperate with what has already occurred. To say, this happened, and I will use it. Feel the shift in that, from victim of events to participant in them, from resistance to partnership. Now imagine an event in your life that feels difficult to accept: a disappointment, a loss, a wrong turn, a missed opportunity, an unexpected change. See it clearly. Now imagine viewing it differently. What if this was not an interruption of your path? What if it was part of it? What if this event was woven into the fabric of your becoming? Ask quietly, if this was meant to shape me, what has it strengthened? Resilience? Patience? Humility? Clarity? Compassion? Courage? Notice what has grown in you. The subconscious begins to recognize something powerful. Nothing is wasted if I respond well. It's not how many times I get knocked down, it's how I get back up. Now imagine a present circumstance that you are resisting. Something unfinished, uncertain, uncomfortable. And now imagine something new. You ask, how can I work with this? Feel the steadiness in that question. You are not surrendering your agency, you are directing it. Because fate determines events, but you determine your response. Your effort is yours. Your character is yours. Your interpretation is yours. Your next step is yours. Imagine a future setback, an unexpected delay, piece of criticism, a plan that shifts. And instead of frustration taking over, you pause. You breathe. And you quietly say, this too belongs. This too can shape me. This too can be used. Feel how empowering that is. You are training yourself to meet whatever comes. Like craftsmen who uses every material, even the rough pieces. Over time, the mind begins to soften its resistance. There will be less, why me? And more, what can I do now? More, this is part of the path. And a quiet confidence begins to grow. Whatever happens, I can turn it towards virtue. I can always respond with wisdom. I can always respond with courage. I can always respond with integrity. Fate may shape the external, but you shape the internal. Now imagine the coming days. Small inconveniences arise, and you smile inwardly. A change of plans, and you adapt. An unexpected challenge, and you stand steady. Each time, you remember love of fate is not dramatic. It is practiced in small moments, in each pause, in each reframing, in each deliberate response. And as you practice this, something shifts. Life feels less like something happening to you and more like something happening with you. You are aligned to reality. And in that alignment, there is strength. In that strength, there is calm. In that calm, there is trust. And the subconscious learns whatever comes, I will use it. Whatever unfolds, I will cooperate with it. Nothing is wasted. This is my path, and I walk it willingly. Now, this experience can begin to gently complete itself. Nothing needs to change very much, just a small shift, enough to notice the present moment while still remaining wonderfully relaxed. Everything that's been helpful can remain quietly in place, continuing to work on its own without effort or attention. Just allow awareness to float slightly closer to the surface. You may notice the space around you in a soft, distant way, not sharply, just enough to recognize where you are. In a moment, there will be a simple choice to reach out to turn off the podcast and then let go back to sleep again. There's no rush. And after the podcast ends, there's nothing else to listen for, nothing to follow. You can simply rest, drift, and sleep deeply and comfortably as your mind and body continue to settle on their own. I'll count slowly from 1 to 3, not to wake you fully, just to bring enough clarity to move comfortably and easily. 1, a gentle lifting of awareness, like drifting closer to the edge of sleep. 2, just enough alertness to do what you need to do and nothing more. 3, able to turn off the podcast now. And as soon as you do, you can allow yourself to sink right back into sleep. Good night. I will talk to you again soon.